right, y'all. Welcome back. It is game day. Big game coming up. Kind of feels like nobody's really talking about this because of Tony V and maybe some other things. People may be sleeping on this matchup, and I don't know if this is the right week to do that. You know what I'm saying? And not to scare anybody, but I think that we need to be locked in. I know that the team is locked in. We do have the injuries. We'll take a look at that here in just a second, and that's the main reason that we started it later today, because we wanted to look at that first and break down everything based off of that. Like where are things at? But y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And P, I want to get to your opening thoughts, but first let's take a quick glance at these injuries, and then we're gonna get to the chat. So thank y'all for joining us. So right here, this is the updated injuries. This just dropped at 6:15. So for Tennessee, we see the players that are out. Really, I'm looking at AC as a game time. We talked about it, Pete. He's got 2 turf toes, and I personally have said that I don't think that he needs to play today. He might need to sit out for like the next couple of weeks. And my biggest reason for it is, number one, his personal health. You don't want to have a guy out there with 2 turf toes that's never going to heal up. That's a pretty serious injury. It's tough to move around. Playing a linebacker, there's a ton of movement that goes into it. He's been tough enough to try to fight through it. I'm not sure if he is going to play today. I would be kind of shocked if he does. And I also feel like, P, that will be maybe in some ways better for it if he doesn't play, because he hasn't played like the typical Arion Carter. You know what I mean? And obviously, AC, he's our best linebacker when he's healthy. He hasn't been healthy. He's played, to me, like 10 steps slower than what he typically would. So I don't know how helpful that's going to be. But the young guys, if they get to play, they can step up. You're also seeing that Ben Bolton, who's one of our backup linebackers, he's listed as out. But what are your thoughts from the standpoint of just everything? I guess talking about these injuries, and we'll also take a look at the Wildcats.
Yeah, man. I think AC being out is obviously a huge deal. He's been our guy for 3 years now. Pretty much seems like he hasn't missed a game. I don't know how many snaps he's missed since he's been here. So him not being there would be a little bit different feel to defense. But like you said, like you touched on, I think it'll be for the best for this team, because number one, he's not healthy. He's not himself. You look at the tape, he's several steps slower. So I respect the heck out of him for trying to gut it out, be tough, and be a guy that gives his all for Tennessee. But at the end of the day, man, I think he's only hurting himself, and he's even hurting his team by being out there if he's less than 100%. I think go ahead, let the Jadens get some more rep, let Jordan Burns get some more burn, you know what I'm saying? Let these guys, maybe learn on the job. Sometimes let these guys learn on the job, and I think we'll be better for it, because like you've touched on, the athletic potential of those younger guys, it's through the freaking roof. So if they can get in there, take their licks, take their wounds, and learn from it, get better on the other side of it, I think it'll make this team better down the long run. So I'm excited. Hopefully we get to see more of the younger guys today. And hopefully it's not just T-Lander and Spillman. Hopefully they keep on mixing in the Jadens, mixing in Jordan Burns, and really get those guys out there, because like you touched on, man, I think if this team wants to make a run, if everything falls right and we get a chance in the playoffs, I think having those young guys ready to go gives us more versatility as a defense and makes us better down the stretch. But really just AC being a game time decision is really my only real takeaway from this thing. And, hey, good to have Ra off this list and Ethan Davis off this list. Yeah. So we'll see if they make an impact today. I think those are 2 guys, 2 valuable weapons on the offensive side of the ball for us. So excited to see what they can bring to us today.
Yeah, dude, I really feel like, I know that there's been so much talk about Tennessee's defense, about how bad our defense is. Really, if you look from the start of the year to right now, P, our offense is in some ways taking some steps backwards, and our defense is actually taking steps forward. No one's being loud enough about the fact that we're probably leading the nation in drops right now. I know for sure that we're leading the SEC. I still haven't gone in to look at the whole country. I will look after this game, though. But we have 28 drops. It's not just wide receivers. That's tight ends. That's running backs. That's everybody. Got to be better there. Got to be more crisp. But I think part of the reason that maybe we're dropping passes, we're not running the routes full speed all the time, is we're not rotating enough people at wide receiver. It's really only been the starting 3, because Ra and Travis Smith, they've been out. But now that Ra-Ra's back, he should get a lot more snaps. He needs to get a lot more snaps. And same thing could be said about Ethan Davis, about Jack and Brain playing at tight end. They need to get more reps. They need to rotate in. So let's move on down to Kentucky, right? As far as the players that they have out, it's no one of real consequence. All right, it's nobody that's going to make a real difference. But game time, the best player I think maybe on their whole team, number 3 at running back, who folks was so scared of Jam Miller last week that, oh my gosh, please don't let Jam Miller play. We're hoping that he doesn't play. Listen, we saw that, and I think really even over the course of today, people are seeing that number 4, the freshman running back for Alabama actually looks better than him. This is a situation where, number 3 is what I think people felt like Jam Miller would have been. He is a good player. He's probably going to be the twitchiest running back that we've seen all year long. He can run the football very well, clearly, and then they throw the football to him. He's a huge part of their offense. Like, he's kind of like the it factor there that really makes the whole thing go. If he can't play, that's a pretty positive thing for Tennessee. Not ever wishing the injuries on anybody or trying to make a light of it, but I am just telling you that's a huge deal if he can't go. And then as far as this defensive back number 10, he's a guy that I think he might have just popped up. I don't remember him being on there previously, so he might be a guy that could mean something, but I can't tell you that for sure, just because I can't think of him being on there before. So what are you thinking about kind of like what their injury list looks like, P?
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot longer list than we do. So, I mean, I guess that's a favor for us. You always hate to see guys out. Even when you're playing a team, real competitors want to play a team at their best. And like you talk about that, Seth McGowan, he's a guy, he can go now. He's about 215, 220. He's got good size, good speed, good burst, good wiggle. He's a guy, man, he got a route to the ball tackle. This would be a good test for our secondary, for our linebackers. Can we tackle this guy in space? Can we tackle this guy in the box? Because they'll get him out of the backfield, swing it to him, things like that. So can we route to the ball? Has our tackling improved? I mean, how much can it improve in the course of a week? I mean, it's looked pretty bad all season. Is it better today? We'll see. But yeah, man, I mean, that's going to be huge. If 3 can go or not, I think it's a big deal for this game. And definitely if he can't go, it's in our favor. But even if he can go, I kind of prefer it that way because I want to play these teams at their best, and I want to see how our guys stack up against these teams at their best.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's tap into the chat. So this first one is from Charles. He's saying that South Carolina is doing what Tennessee should have done to Bama. Yeah, and this is the thing about the SEC. It is very similar to the NFL. We said that weeks ago. It really is, where you can't just look at what's been going on and say, oh, well, this team's got a much easier path than another team. Maybe you could say that. But at the same time, you really can't for sure say who's going to win every game. There's not a huge separation. This ain't like previous years where all the talent was with like 2 or 3 teams. It's spread out very well. So nobody can sleep at any week. But we have to just take care of business every single week, and we should be fine. But, yeah, I'd be really happy to see Alabama lose. We had a whole video breaking that down, P, where I said, dude, I know that some folks say, well, we want for our wins to look better or our losses to look better, whatever. So the teams that we play, we want them winning. Now, bro, especially the teams that beat us, we need for them to lose more games than us because they're going to keep us in a certain spot. If Alabama and Georgia end up at number 1 and number 2, Tennessee can't get, we can't go up to number, we can't pass them pretty much ever until they lose more SEC games than us, especially. I think, P, how things work is if we both have 2 losses, maybe then the out-of-conference losses comes into play, maybe, or maybe it's just like a straight head-to-head tiebreaker. I don't remember. The tiebreaker comes way down the list on the order of what they're looking at. But yeah, I mean, look, man, we want Georgia to lose. We want Alabama to lose every single week. There's no need to be cheering for them. That's not going to help us. We want everybody who has more wins than us to lose every single week. But yeah, definitely want to point that out. I hope that South Carolina can pull that off. Also saying that the refs are letting them play. Yeah, that's another big part of it. Like not playing in Tuscaloosa, with them being able to play at home, obviously that's going to make a big difference. So, playing like madmen. Love it. And I actually, I had to take me a quick little snooze, Pete. So I missed several minutes from you. Yeah, go ahead.
Is this going to finally be the week South Carolina gets the big upset? I picked them the past 2 weeks, and they let me down. Is this the week they finally freaking get it done? I knew one was coming from these guys. This might be it.
Yeah. It would be huge. I'm telling you, it's still some more games out there that Alabama can lose outside of this one too. But yeah, that's a team that we should have beat. Georgia for sure is a team that's a game that we won, and that's just a fact. Like we won it everywhere except for the scoreboard. All right, so this one says getting to order Tennessee all this time in preparation, take care of business. That's a fact, Los. And this one from Hot Hands is saying that so many freshmen making it on the field, the future is bright. Yeah, that's a fact too. It's always good to get those young guys out there, especially if they can play. We took our lumps early, P. So now that we're getting more towards the middle of the season, the freshmen should start to look better. and we are going to be so much better for it as a team. All right, so look, let me thank C Stables for joining us, and actually we're going to play the super chat for you. But C Stables is now a member. Thank you so much for that. Thank you a lot, C Stables. All right, so we're going to try to clear these out, get to a few more, then we'll jump into all of our thoughts and breaking things down some more. So from Lowe's, he's saying that Hate the Carter is injured, but it's time to find linebackers that can make an impact. Yeah, now I think that he can, but it's just that he is injured. You know what I'm saying? That's what the problem is. He can't play to his standard. Yep. Offense has to get it straight. No excuses now. Yeah. Okay. That's a fact. All right. So we caught up on all the chats. Let's go ahead and jump into the breaking down. So my game day, excuse me, my game day concerns for Tennessee. All right, I always try to do 7 for Tennessee and whoever we're playing. So number one, I think that Kentucky can slow the game down from the way that they like to play. They can run some slow tempo. They can go up tempo too, but they'll probably try to run slow tempo. They'll do a lot of frustrating things to try to like first down, let's see if we can get 3 or 4 yards. Let's try to get 3 to 4 yards and then get it into like third and short and find ways to make some plays happen. So it can be a frustrating game from that standpoint. And then number 2, they have a very twitchy running back. We already touched on it, P. I think he's going to be the twitchiest running back that we've seen so far this year if he gets to go. Number 3, they've got some tough guys playing at the skill spot. So that's it. Running back, I think at tight end is kind of a skill spot, so I'll count that. And then they're wide receivers, not the biggest guys, but they are very scrappy. Number 4 for me is that they have complicated coverages. So once we look at the coverages, y'all will see that PFF doesn't know what some of their coverages are. It's not, I mean, you should be able to tell, but it can be confusing. I think it can have a pretty strong impact on Tennessee's passing game. That's what's really hurt us is just like having the proper answers. I hope that we've opened things up. P, if we haven't added some plays, if we're not going to run more plays than what we've seen, it's going to be tough, I think, on Tennessee's offense. Number 5, they're going to force us to play out in space some more than what Alabama did. All right, they will make us play out in space more than Alabama did. That's been like a weakness of Tennessee's defense. Number 6, we have to be careful because we have so many young players playing of busted plays, busted coverages, I would say especially, but also busted run fits. And then this is a road game. Tennessee hasn't been great, especially with our offense playing on the road since Coach Apple's been here. Can we take that step forward? Can we handle business? P, what are your thoughts with my 7?
Well, I mean, I love them, man. I think that's a good 7 for me. It actually starts with number 7. I mean, heck, can this team put together a complete game on the road in the SEC? I mean, this isn't a supremely talented Kentucky team, but we know SEC. I mean, heck, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Literally, any team could beat any other team in the conference. I mean, it's nobody's safe at all. So this is a game we got to come out here ready to go. Can we avoid the pre-snap penalty? Can we have a road game at night against this is a big time rival, supposedly? Can we avoid jumping off sides? I mean, can we avoid the false starts? Can we avoid the nonsense? I mean, is there a way that can happen? Like, that's a big one for me. Can we have 0 pre-snap penalties on offense? I mean, that'd be awesome. So that's where it starts for me. Can we avoid beating ourselves? I mean, that's really the whole thing for me. Can we avoid the self-inflicting wounds, especially at critical times in the game? But I also think number 1, man, super important. Anytime you're playing these types of teams that can control the ball, they're shortening the game or speeding it up, however you want to look at it, but they're limiting the possessions. All right. So, hey, if you let these guys control the ball, sustain drives, convert third downs, it can be really tough on your offense, put stress on your offense. Maybe these guys have to start pressing a little bit more and trying to force some things. And, it can be a bad situation. So get off the field on third down, limit the pre-snap penalties on offense. And, I think everything else should take care of itself today.
Yeah, and just a quick little update for those of y'all that maybe can't see the game, but South Carolina is beating Alabama 22-14 with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like I said, I hope that they pull it out. I think that that's only going to help Tennessee. We need for them to lose as many games, especially SEC games, as possible. Mm-hmm. That is only going to help us when it counts.
And I'll say this too. And I'll say this too. Something we've seen a lot of national media talking about, which I was surprised to even see people acknowledging this. Everyone said, "Hey, man, that game was not a 17-point game." You know what I mean? Like Tennessee was a much more competitive game than that. So I think people realized that we had every opportunity to win that game. Probably should have won that game. We just blew it. So I don't know how that would maybe favor us in the committee's eyes. Yeah, like maybe they might kind of look at that too as something. But just something that I thought was interesting seeing the media actually acknowledging that it was a much closer game than what the scoreboard showed.
Yeah, I would say that as of right now, the most important thing is to try to be top three in the SEC because I think the SEC is going to get in 4 teams. I do. So if we're top three, just within our own conference, we're automatically in. Then we take the people that are voting on the stuff, we take them out of it. Where we don't want to be is on the cusp, and it's us versus Notre Dame because they're not going to let us in over Notre Dame. Even if Notre Dame, I think they might have to lose 4 games, P, for us to get left out over Notre Dame. That's just how it goes. I even heard Kirk Herbstreit saying that earlier today. It's like, Notre Dame is pretty much a lock to get in. I mean, that's just how it goes. So yeah, we just got to take care of business. We got to focus on where do we stack up versus the rest of the SEC first. Anything else is probably not going to be favorable for Tennessee anyway. So if we're 10-2, I think we have a good chance to be able to make it. So these are the things that I think that Kentucky should be worried about, P. I think that obviously, man, Tennessee is going to be more talented. There is this, I've heard it kind of circulating that, well, Kentucky is just not a talented team. That's just not true. Like, there are no teams in the SEC that aren't talented. Vanderbilt's the least talented. We're seeing how well they're playing, but see, people don't think of it that way. And I'm just talking about the talent that's on paper. So I want to make sure that people understand this is a talented team. So if the game's tight, doesn't mean that Tennessee sucks. Doesn't mean that people need to be, getting fired and stuff. It's too much. Like, to me, it's just too many casual takes. It's too much. Not it's setting up too many really bad expectations for this fan base, and I think that that's a negative thing for us. All right, so number 2, I think that Tennessee's run game can be dominant. We're still averaging over 5 yards per carry. That's something that Kentucky definitely needs to worry about, especially since we're more talented. I think that we're going to be stronger up front on both fronts. And then, man, our passing game can get going. We could throw it down the field. That's something that they also have to worry about. We have a dangerous pass rush. To me, it's still the most dangerous in the country. I'm not quite sure where we're ranked at, number 3, number 4, something, but whatever. We had one game where we didn't really generate sacks. Outside of that, it's been a problem. And then I think we have a good run-stopping defense. We already talked about that. We have some young linebackers. We said, well, that could maybe be sort of a negative thing with the busted coverages, but also it could be kind of a positive thing because they're much better athletes. You know what I mean? Like, they can that's been one of the biggest problems with our defense. You get guys out there that are just incredible athletes. They can move around. They can, that can stop the stuff that comes to the middle on a much higher level. They can stop the misdirection stuff. Really, I think all the issues with our defense, because they're better athletes, they can fix that. So this could just be a totally different looking team with the young linebackers out there. And then the last thing that they need to be worried about is the history. I mean, Tennessee just beats them. You know what I'm saying? I think that they win one every 8 to 10 years, P. Every 8 to 10 years. We might be coming up on the time, but I don't think that this is the year. But what are your thoughts here, P?
Yeah, man. For me, for our defense in particular, it starts with us being able to freaking tackle. I mean, can we get out here and freaking tackle these guys in space, avoid giving up, yards after contact? Because that's been killing us the past several weeks. So that's my number one deal for our team. But I think you hit it on the head. I mean, we are a more talented team. And for me, man, I wouldn't mind seeing us come out here and try to run the ball 50 plus times. Like, let's establish, because I think the run game, honestly, even go back to the Bama game last week, we were way too pass happy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Joey's done some really good things and it's fun. We love it, you know what I mean? But just hand it off, dude. Go and get your 5-6 yards a pop. And last week, we were getting 20-30 yards a pop pretty much. So I would not mind seeing us come out here. Hey, let's run it 3 times in a freaking row. Let's have a drive where it's 10 plays, 8 runs. You know what I mean? Let's really get that thing going. Rotate some guys in, maybe let some guys get a rhythm, but then rotate them if it's getting tired. Let's really bully these guys and establish the line of scrimmage, establish that we're the more physically dominant team, and just set the tone early on these guys. And then watch how easy it is to pass the ball at that point, which is why what I always say, my number one key to every game is stop the freaking run. Listen, if a team can't stop your run, they're done. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want to them at that point. So, let's go ahead and freaking put them to the test early. That'd be my big key for the game offensively is freaking run the freaking football, see if they can stop it. But hey, man, like you said, this is a talented team. Anybody can be anybody in the SEC. We've said that before. So we got to come ready to play. And it's on the road. This team's desperate. They need a win. They hate us. Okay, they're going to be up for this game. Can we overcome all the adversity on the road? We'll see.
Yeah, I would actually say I might have been too kind with my day after grades for our offensive staff last week because there were really a lot of things that they just did horribly, and not sticking to the run is up on top of that list. Just a piss poor, terrible job. I expect for them to get that turned around. They need to stick to the run. I think that's an excellent point, B. So speaking of the talent that they have, this is just some of their guys, right? Like they got dudes. This is just 8 of them. There's 6 that's on offense, and then there's 2 on defense. We talked a lot about number 3. That's where it starts at for me. But they're also talented. I think that their offensive line's good, P. I think that their front 7 on defense is also good. But just wanted for y'all to see the numbers, understand like those jersey numbers. Those are some players. These guys can play. It's SEC. It's not a bunch of scrubs out here playing for anybody, okay? Anybody. If they're playing, it's because they're good. All right, so they do have guys. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breaking down part of it, or more of the actual breaking down the X's and O's, P. This is going to be Tennessee's defense versus their offense first. Y'all see that we do have more blue chip caliber players here. We have 27. They have 13. This is the biggest gap of either of the matchups. So this is their 2 deep. The red is going to be the line of scrimmage players. The white is going to be their tight ends. Yellow is their quarterbacks, and blue is their skill players. They got some good looking guys. Like, again, the offensive line looks good. Their tight ends are good. They're pretty deep there. Quarterback, he's a young guy, 6'5", 220, strong arm. He's somewhat mobile. I'd say he's close to maybe like Joey. That's not really his game. He's more of a pocket passer, but he can move. So you have to be cognizant of it. What are some of your thoughts, P, just with the little bit that we've gone through?
Yeah, man. I like that number 1, Kendrick Law. I mean, he's a guy. He flashes on tape for you. He's a do-it-all guy. I mean, he's explosive. He's physical. I mean, he's a legitimate guy, and people don't talk enough about it. I mean, he's a guy that can take a little quick screen and make some things happen with it. He can go vertical, take the top off. So he's a really good receiver. And their O-line, you kind of see some inconsistencies there. Like when they're on, but there are also some holes. Like there's some times I watch these guys and I think they look pretty bad, especially at left tackle. And maybe it's just because his body shape or something. I don't know what it is, but I think we can beat him with speed and we can take advantage of him. So there are some holes in this team. Obviously, we can take advantage of. But I mean, this is a well-rounded team. And again, like we talk about, we say this all the time. If you're on this channel, we say all the time. For whatever reason, Tennessee teams seems to get pretty much every team they play is best. I don't know what it is. But I mean, teams show up against us. So whatever the best version of that particular team is, you can expect it. We'll see it. So expect to see the best version of these guys. And like we talked about, this is the SEC. This is a talented roster. I think every roster in the SEC is talented enough, for the most part, for the coaches to be able to put them in position to make some plays. You know what I'm saying? Like they can give you some trouble just from the talent and the scheme perspective. So I mean, we got our hands full today, man. This is a talented roster. I actually liked Zach Calzada at quarterback. I think they've been playing the other guy mostly lately, but
Yeah.
I mean, Calzada, I mean, he's got a live arm. Like, he's a guy, talk about backup quarterbacks. If he gets in, watch out, because he can play now.
Yep.
I think he's down here in Georgia, so watch out for him.
Yep. All right. So this is the matchup with the stats, and we're about to tap into the chat here in just a second. But y'all can see that Tennessee's defense is winning in most of these categories. It's kind of close, but this goes back to my point. Like I put the strength of schedule on top of each team so that people understand, that there is a little bit of a difference. And if you're looking, Tennessee's strength of schedule is at number 15. Theirs is at number 7. But you know what? It might not be as true in this matchup just because they have played some pretty good teams. But I don't think that Tennessee's defense is as bad as some people keep saying. We're not doing everything perfectly, but if you go on a per game basis, it's really not horrible. Probably where there's some outliers at is with Tennessee versus some of these other like UAB and East Tennessee, whatever. We're putting in some young guys and giving up a lot more yards than maybe the other teams are because we are the youngest team in this conference. So they're getting out there, they're buzzing in coverage. Whereas with some of the other teams, they've got some freshmen out there, but they also have a lot of other veterans that can make up for maybe where there's some missed things. And I'm not just trying to fluff you up, but I want for people to understand that some of this stuff looks close. I don't know. I would say that we should be a little bit better than what these stats might indicate. Anything here, Pete?
I mean, some people might say this is bad on bad, right? But I mean, I think like you talked about, you actually watched the film, and we set this live after the Bama game. Our defense did enough. I mean, you told me coming into this game, Alabama, one of the highest offenses in the country at the time, we're going to hold them to 28 points. I mean, I feel like, hey, that's solid, especially with how our defense had given up points the previous weeks. I think defense has been solid. It's just, man, it's crazy because it's the smallest fundamental things: tackling, lining up properly, like maintaining your leverage, keeping contained, just doing your job. It's the basic stuff. But again, we talk about us getting team's best version. if they get the best version of this defense, that could be scary because we have the pieces, I think, to do things. And I think Tim Banks, he usually dials things up pretty nicely. And we finally click on all cylinders. Can the pass rush get there? Can the D line stuff the run? Can the backers flow, tackle, cover in space, and safeties, corners? Can they come up, tackle, cover? If we can just do it all, just the basic stuff. I mean, yeah, I think we can hold these guys to very minimal points today.
Okay, yeah, I think that those are excellent points. So let me get to this as well, and I'm going to take myself out of it here. I'm going to take both of us out of this in just a second, P. But this is just like a breakdown of what they like to do within their offense. All right, so I'm about to make it big here for you. Boom. So this is just a breakdown of what they like to do on offense. The personnel, the main thing there is that they're running a lot of like heavy tight end sets. So 12 personnel means 2 tights, 13 means 3 tights. So they want to, kind of like ground and pound you, but they use their tight ends within their passing game too. Will Tennessee do more 4-3 and more 3-4? This is a game that you kind of want to have more linebackers out there, but it's also, I think, be a perfect situation to let the young guys get their reps, to let them get their burn, to let them get out there more often and kind of like take their lumps. All right, so with their like run ratios, whole lot of like inside stuff, so inside zone and man blocking that's at 25%. Really, their man blocking is going to be more like outside runs for them, typically. But I think that that's what we should be maybe kind of worried about is their outside runs. If they get to the edge, which since he hasn't shown too often that we can set the proper edges, that can be a little bit of a problem, especially with number 3. He's a freaking home run hitter. Number 2, he's a bigger guy. He's not going to be as much of a home run threat, but I guess still kind of has it. So just wanted to point that out, and then y'all can see all the rest of the stuff. As far as their route tendencies, we're going to see a whole lot of vertical passes, P. So that's just like fades, straight goals, posts, and like corners and smash routes. So they're doing that at about 31%. As far as the crossing patterns, there's going to be a whole lot of vertical stuff and crossing patterns. So drags, like shallow crossers, and then some deeper crossers. They love the wide screens to their running backs, to their tight ends, to their wide receivers. That's pretty much it. And then obviously hitches. If you're playing off coverage, they'll just kind of like hit you up. Just as far as their weaknesses, I don't think that the quarterback is super accurate, especially deep down the field on passes of 20-plus yards. Probably not going to be super accurate. Inside runs, they're not great at that. They're pretty good at bouncing those, like we talked about. Their offensive line can be spotty. I think is very solid, but I've seen them mess up in a couple of places. Just not the best athletes there, but they play well. I think that they're well coached. They're obviously, more veteran guys. And then I think that their route combinations can get kind of stale. They don't use it as well as like a Syracuse or like an Arkansas where, they're running all these routes. It might not mean a whole lot to several people, but whenever you run those routes and you get them moving and grooving and, twisting up and all that, and it's actually opening up things, that's when it's a real problem. They don't utilize it that well, P. So what are your thoughts here?
I would expect a heavy dose of that outside run today, man. I mean, we have not really done a great job against versus that all season long. You saw Bama had success. They couldn't get anything up the middle. I mean, they couldn't do a thing. Sometimes they hit it to the outside, and heck, everybody knows it's going outside. We still can't stop it. I think we've talked about this for several weeks now, probably since maybe the Mississippi State game, maybe even before then. Our Leos just have not done a good job of setting the edge. I feel like they've done better since then. Now it kind of almost seems like it's more like the backers when it's the backers' turn to set the edge. They're not setting it. And sometimes if it's a safety, like I don't know, it's always somebody. Whoever's setting the edge, a lot of times tends to not do a great job doing it. So can we set the freaking? And to me, that's one of the most basic fundamental rules of football. Okay, since you're 6 years old, what do you tell your corners? Don't anybody get outside of you. You know what I mean? Like that's your one job, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So on these run plays, if you're the edge setter, then set the edge. I mean, just set the edge. Give your guys a chance. And so that's my big thing today. Can we stop that? Because last thing I want to look up here and see is that Kentucky's running the ball getting 4, 5, 6, 7 yards a pop. I mean, if I see that, just know I'm at home screaming at my TV because I don't want to see that. So can we stop the freaking run? For me, that's where it starts. But yeah, I mean, this is offense. I think if we can prevent them from getting that run game going, they become very one-dimensional. Not a very explosive passing game, not a very dynamic route scheme, as you said. So then, hey, D-line, pin your ears back, get after the passer, and let's go have some fun today.
Yep. So just a quick little update. The game between Alabama and South Carolina is tied 22-22. It's a minute 30 left. Bama's got the ball. I can't tell. It looks like they're actually driving, so we'll see. I mean, I'm gonna be pissed off if they end up winning this game. But let me tap into the chat. So Excuse me. All right, so this one right here, from Hot Hand saying that he can't remember the last time that he's seen this many freshmen playing in year one, burning red shirts. Yeah, which is a good thing, right? I mean, because these days red shirts really don't matter. You know, like it's not like back in the day when players can move around. The red shirt thing really doesn't matter. So we don't have to hold them up. You know, and we've been asking for it as a fan base. Can we see the young guys more? Well, now we're seeing it, and it comes with some growing pains, but we'll be a lot better for it next year for sure. But I think even more towards the end of the year, you'll see Tennessee is actually getting better. You know, Tennessee's getting better where other teams are kind of like, you know, they've already hit their ceiling. All right, yeah, man, yeah, drops have been horrible. That's a fact. Exercise those road demons. Yeah, we definitely need to do that, bro. Go go Yardbirds. All right, so this one saying that Vandy's standing on business and they're about to beat Dorkowitz. That's always good. I can't stand them. I hope they lose every game for the rest of eternity. This one from Tater saying that maybe the rest will play right with all the NBA rigging going on. You know, that stuff trickles down. Yeah, you know that maybe I just think that there's so much cheating that goes on in sports. People really just don't understand. It's never been fair. It's never going to be fully fair. That's just part of the game. Okay, yeah. So somebody updated us there, so I was a little bit late. And this one from Ben is saying, as always, great details. Go Big Orange. Thank you for that, Ben. And Matt is saying 31-14 State. That's crazy. So
Wow.
yeah. So and you know, a lot of folks are like, well, you know, Tennessee's not good because we're barely beating Mississippi State. This is the point that we keep on trying to drive home to y'all. Take the old thoughts of how things used to work out of your mind. That's not like that stuff it doesn't really mean anything now. The SEC is very talented. These are good teams. Finding a way to win is all that we should care about. The style points and all that, yeah, it's great if we can get them, but we just need to be focusing on trying to win ball games. All right, so this one says, yep, okay, in the last minutes, and I'll check on that in just a second. Go Big Orange. All right, so listen, thank y'all so much for joining us for sure, and we will be continuing to tap back into the chat. But let's move on, P. Let's talk about Tennessee's offense versus Kentucky's defense. So much closer with the talent gap here. We have 20 blue chip caliber players to their 17. All right, we know that their defense is giving us trouble sometimes. And actually, I'm going to make this one bigger for them too, P. We didn't do it for their offense, but we will do it here. Everything that's in red, that's the front four. The white's the linebackers, that's the second level. And then blue is the third level, that's the secondary players. They have good size, they have good length. Now, their front, just with their two deep, not the biggest guys. We talked about it last week versus Bama. We should be able to move them. SEC, it's typically, I mean, shoot, you should have, 5 or 6 guys, which they very well may, but you need to have multiple guys up front that are over 300 pounds. All right. If you don't, versus offense, it can be a problem. So that's something that I'm watching very, very closely in this matchup. Anything that kind of stands out to you?
I mean, they have some good length on the perimeter. Nice tall secondary. I mean, this is some guys listen, especially in the SEC. I mean, the defense is going to freaking be there, guys. Okay, especially on paper, they're going to have the personnel. They're going to have legitimate looking guys. They're going to have several guys probably just on the defense that are going to get a serious look in the NFL, probably even be drafted. I mean, it's an SEC defense, so we'll have our work cut out. Can we get the run game going? If we get that going, makes our day a lot easier. But this is a talented defense, man. We're going to have our work cut out for us for sure.
Yep. So moving on. All right. So these are the overall stats, right? Tennessee's offense is winning in every single one of these categories. And anything that kind of stands out to me. So, it's not the best passing defense from a stat standpoint. And, we'll see. Styles make fights. We shall see. This one could be tough because they run some different variants of like man coverage, P. And that's what concerns me. It's the man zone concepts that I think that with the way that we've been running our route combinations could be a problem. We got to mix it up better than what we've been doing. But anything standing out here?
I mean, the best part of the defense is their run stopping defense. So can we put that to the test today and continue our 200 plus yards per game? I mean, this big game, I love to see us have a like a last season type of rushing game where we're getting close to 300 yards. You know what I mean? Like, let's push the tempo here. When I say push tempo, I mean, let's just push the envelope and really, really hammer the run game. And just, forces guys. Now, if this guy stop it, yeah, you adjust. I haven't seen anybody stop a run game yet. I mean, I haven't seen it. So let's see if these guys can be the first ones to do it. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big day for our offense, man. I really do. I think we'll have a big day on the road, and I think we'll be up in the high 30s, maybe get into the 40s today.
All right. Love that. So we're going to pull this up for y'all. This is their tendencies on defense. And this one I might take a little bit more time with. So their personnel in the top left, 3-3-5 at about 73%. That's one version of their nickel. And then the 2-4-5, that's the other version of their nickel. And they're running, they're in their nickel. What is that, P? I mean, like 84% of the time, something like that. I'm not some math wizard or nothing like that, but just as far as like their base defense, that's their 3-4. We talked about Alabama being a team that runs the 3-4 more than any team in this conference. And I think that we had some answers to it. I think we had some answers to it. But whenever you run these different fronts, so these 3-man fronts, these 2-man fronts, it's going to be the speed of the blitzing. It can come from a lot of different places. That's always something that worries me. It worried me last week. Anytime the teams give you these crazy, funky looking fronts, you got to worry about that. Will we know who to pick up? It's something. This is a good challenge. This is a good test. Something that the young guys need to learn and be like well versed with it, because David Sanders, he's probably going to be starting this week, I think, at right tackle. Something else, P. I hope that we don't rotate as much as we have on the offensive line. I think that's a big part of the reason that we didn't look as good last week. So let me throw that out there. I also want to see us hold on to the football longer. Part of the problem with our defense, anytime that you're going with an offense like Coach Heupel's that wants to use the speed, the defense sees way too many snaps. That's part of the reason our stats don't look as good. Okay, we got to try to keep the defense off the field by sustaining drives and by not just going super fast speed, which P, you did touch on that, like, hey, tempo, but not necessarily with the speed at which we're doing things, right? Like, let's just kind of like press things, but not so much with the speed. We got to let the defense rest more. All right, so as far as their blitz ratios, it's not like nothing groundbreaking here. So like their total blitz ratios is at like 21%. So that's versus the run and versus the pass. Just put like separately versus the run only at 8%, very low, very, very, very low. And then versus the pass there at about 33%. That's going to be maybe at like number 7 or number 6 in the SEC. Now for their coverage breakdown, a lot of cover 3, okay, which Alabama ran cover 3 like the entire game last week. We've been really good versus it, but the way that they ran it, because it's funky, gave us problems. Quarters coverage, that's at 16%. Then unknown, this is from PFF. We talked about it to kind of kick things off. The unknown is like, there's a lot of different coverages in there, but it's just because they operated so funky, the people didn't know what it was. So most of that's actually going to be some sort of like one high look. So man coverage or cover 3. With cover 3, cover 1, you're going to be able to stack the box more and dedicate the people to stopping Tennessee's run game. So, but it's also could be some tighter windows down the field. And then just straight up cover 1, that's at 7.5%. Y'all can see the weaknesses that I have for them. But P, what are your thoughts? And I'm going to come back to the weaknesses, or you can start to touch on them there if you choose to.
Yeah. Oh, well, first I'll say this, man. It starts for us, obviously, being able to run the football, but then obviously our pass protection. Like it felt like last week, Joey didn't have a ton of time to throw. I think, if we can give him more time, let him settle down a little bit in the pocket, then he's a much better quarterback. I think any quarterback's better the more time they have, obviously, right? So, can the O-line, to your point, maybe the rotation, we need to limit that stuff. And I think all things considered, I mean, the fact that we can move a guy from right guard to left guard, move a guy from right tackle, left tackle, bring a guy in off the bench, put him a left tackle, like the fact that we can move things around like that and still have a solid line, I mean, that is impressive. But I think that we're best when we have continuity. We can find us 5 or 6 guys and roll with those guys. You know what I'm saying? So let's get that going, and it opens up everything else. I want to see Chris Braswell have him a big day today. I mean, he's been kind of limited the past couple of weeks. Can we get him back going? I know he's getting frustrated, and he's a guy, for me, I haven't really seen anybody stop him from catching the ball. I mean, maybe once or twice, but I mean, heck, he's been covered up a little bit, but we're overthrowing him. Give him a chance. He'll go up high point 6'5", can jump out of the freaking gym. Give him a chance. Underthrow it if you have to, Joey, but give him a chance, and I think he still makes those plays. So let's get him back involved in this game. And can we, like one of the commenters touched on, I forget who it was, can we cut out the drops? We have 0 drops today. I mean, can you imagine a 0 drop game? Wow. 0 drops. I think we score that right there off the wham. I mean, last week you take the drops off. That's probably 2 or 3 more touchdowns. Easy.
Yeah, easy.
So, so let's limit the freaking drops. As far as the weaknesses, man, freaking edge runs. Hey, we saw last week versus Bama. Worked great for us, didn't it? I mean, we're really able to hit the edge. Bishop cutting it back. Let's divvy up the run game, diversify it. Hey, QB Reed. I don't know if we want to do that with Joey. He's a little banged up, but let's get outside if we need to on these guys. But I'll let you touch on the rest of these because kind of what you're talking about. But
okay,
this should be a big day for offense, I think.
Yeah. So just like with the weaknesses, I think that their defense does struggle to set proper edges. So we talked about last week we really got the outside zone going, which we weren't like. Whenever I talk about it, I mean, whenever I talk about stretch plays, I mean the way that we were running outside zone last week. I think now people call it outside zone when it's kind of a stretch play, which just means that the aiming points to the outside, but you can cut it back. I think that we're really good at that. So something that I'm thinking Tennessee really needs to try to utilize our wide receivers too. Try to get to the edge on this team. Maybe some read options, right? Because they struggle with the option game too. They're not very. Most of the things that you would think about Tennessee's defense struggling with, I think that their defense does. Flooding their zone. So any sort of a zone, and I talked about it, Pete. Last week versus Bama, I couldn't stand it, man. Like they're running so much cover three. We keep on going 2x2 sets. Like, bro, overload one of the sides so that we can flood the zones. It was just like, man, the play calling was actually pretty poor. I think that might be like the worst offensive, like worst called offensive game that Tennessee's had with Coach Heupel in a really long time. But we have to do things like that. You have to try to flood their zones because their linebackers aren't very good at dropping to the proper depth, finding people. Like they're covering grass so much. So you can pitch and catch that way. And then they're not very good versus mobile quarterbacks. Joey can run some. He's not, he ain't some super duper mobile guy, but he can get you, he can do some things whenever it breaks down. I want him to be careful. Like he needs to get his butt down, but I think that we have to utilize those types of things. And Tennessee should really be able to eat in this game. If we just kind of like hit our heads into a wall the whole game, play right into their strengths, I still feel like we could probably win, P, just by not, probably not by like some huge margin. You know what I'm saying? I think it might be like by 3 points. We have to try to take advantage of their weaknesses and our strengths on offense, defense, special teams. I'm sad to say, don't feel like we've done the best job of doing that really over the course of the year. Some games, spurts here and there, but just from top to bottom over the course of the year, haven't done a good job of that. But do you have any extra thoughts here, Pete?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all. Well, I'll say this. I know I guess we'll get to our score prediction here in a little bit, but I mean, heck, I think I told you preseason. We know what we know. Heupel's going to give you at least one per year. He shouldn't lose. He's going to give it to you. The question is this: has that already happened? Was that the Georgia game? Because this is the one I had circled. Okay, I'll go and tell you. Now, does the fact that we already blew one we shouldn't have lost? It's kind of like Final Destination, right?
Hey, P, your audio just went out. You might got to hit the mic.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
All right, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I hit the back one button. But yeah, I was just talking about Final Destination. Somebody dies in your place, death skips over you or whatever. Did Georgia die in Kentucky's place? So now, they're not going to upset us. You know what I mean? Because I think it was setting up to it. I think we'll be locked in and focused. Last year we had 2 losses. We really locked in the rest of the way. We got to be razor sharp the rest of the year. Heck, we lose a game, we're done. You know what I mean? We're in the playoffs. Yep. So let's come out here, play football. I think we're the better team. So we should freaking win this one.
Yep. I do too, man. I think that's very, very well said. And yeah, let's go on ahead and start to get into some of these picks. And really, I mean, maybe we can pick some of the games that haven't happened yet. But I really just kind of like wanted to recap what all has happened and then try to get to Tennessee. But let me get to these chats first. So this one's saying that Vandy and Bama both won. Thank you for that, Ben. Thank you for keeping us up to date, bro. And thank you for also keeping the chat up to date. Shouts out to everybody. Shouts out to especially all the members on Patreon, members on YouTube. Everyone that likes and subs to the channel. All that little stuff that we have to say all the time, man. Trust me, we don't like having to do it, but that's the only way that we can keep on moving, So also, if y'all could, share our streams, share our videos, man. Like, help spread the word that we do have good content here, because I know that there's some people out there that's just haters, and they hate on every single Tennessee channel. But just know that I think that really every channel brings something positive. I haven't really seen any Tennessee channels that I don't like. There's people that I don't like. There's one person that I personally don't like, but I'll just leave it at that. Some people are weaselly snakes. But let me go on ahead and jump into this real quick for y'all. Okay, so starting off with Alabama. Alabama beats South Carolina. That was a freaking barn burner. So Bama fights on, which sucks. Indiana, they had a huge win. I'm really focusing more on like the SEC stuff. Georgia Tech had a huge win. Ole Miss, they beat Oklahoma, and obviously we got them coming up. I'm going to circle back to this one, Pete. But then Vandy beats Mizzou, Dork and his bunch. Love to see that. I think that they're about to lose a bunch of games. We had a stream on like one of these days last week, P, where people was like, yeah, I think that Dork should get Coach of the Year. I not that I'm throwing it out there, but really, I think Vandy's coach should probably, if anybody's getting it, it should be him. He's got the least talented roster in the SEC, and they're really playing. Dork hasn't played really anybody. Anybody he's played with the Pulse, he's lost to. All right. Who else do we got in here? Happy to see. Oh no, man! So South Florida ended up losing.
They blew it.
Dang.
They were winning by 7. They gave up 17 unanswered in the 4th.
Wow, that hurts, man. Dang. Hate to see that. But Coach Golish.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
Maybe that's good. Well, I say it's good. I want the best for Golish. Yeah. But heck, I'm kind of worried about him getting that Florida job. So
yeah, maybe, I am too. I don't want to go to Florida.
Off of that a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it works out in our favor.
Yeah, I don't want him going to the SEC period because that man can coach, and obviously that's a compliment. Okay, so let's talk about Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. P, did you get to watch that? I know that y'all was kind of like moving around and stuff.
Yeah, I was able to catch bits and pieces. I was rooting hard for Oklahoma. So this is a game, probably out of all the games, this is the one we probably should have been rooting the hardest for. You know what I mean? Because this is a one-loss Ole Miss team that we need to lose some games. Oklahoma team that we still have to play. But yeah, let's let them look good before we play them. You know what I mean? Yep. So I was going hard for Oklahoma in this one, and they had them. I think it was whatever the score was. It was something. It was a 1-score game, like a 2-point game or something. And freaking Oklahoma is trying to fill the punt in the 4th quarter. It's like 7 minutes left. Freaking punt returner catches it. He's over here running the ball, jumps, gets hit, fumbles. First play, you talked about this on one of your videos last week, talking about most teams have turnovers. They take a shot. Well, Lane Kiffin, first play of turnover, takes a shot. I don't think he scored, but picked up like 60 yards, whatever. They scored, shortly thereafter. Now that was the ball game. But man, Oklahoma's this close. Would have been a big win for us if they could have got that win, especially us playing them next week. But it's what it is.
Yeah. I just like some of my thoughts, and of course tomorrow I'm gonna have like some more probably in-depth opening thoughts on Oklahoma. I don't want, and I know I'm saying this a lot, but things aren't necessarily transitive. So I don't want for people to say, oh, well, Ole Miss was able to go down there and beat them. So if we lose, then we suck. Or like, oh, Oklahoma's offense sucks. And P, I think that we've all been watching film on these guys leading up to the game because I'll probably watch more film on them than the team that we're playing tonight. But their offense is going to, it can be troublesome. And I'm excited to see what Ole Miss did just from like a scheme standpoint and how they're able to shut down a lot of, especially their passing game. But Oklahoma has a good offense. Just definitely wanted to throw that out there. I think that their defense, I'm not going to call it a paper tiger. I think we'll see something different because they've been running so much like 4-man front, so much 4-3. They're in their base defense more than Alabama is. But I could see them coming out next week and doing a lot more 3-man fronts versus us because I don't think that the 4-man front, I don't think it was doing them too many favors. So they learned something from this game, I'm sure. How different does it look? The styles make the fights. But, yeah, I was hoping that Oklahoma could have pulled it out. But Coach Kiffin he's on his way somewhere. Texas might be looking for a coach soon. I heard something about Sark, where they're saying Sark, his agents have been talking to some NFL teams like, hey, we're ready to get on up out of here. I don't know. Maybe Sark goes to Texas. We got to play. I'm sorry, not Sark, but maybe Coach Kiffin goes to Texas, and we have to play Texas these next few years. It might actually be better for him to go to Florida than it would be for him to go to Texas. But saying all that just to say that one kind of hurts. But hopefully we can pull it off and make Oklahoma lose in back-to-back weeks. Okay, so let's just kind of like quickly pick some of these games, P. So obviously this would be big. We just talked about it. You want to talk about Stanford, Miami? No, I don't think there's any reason to. No. Let's talk about Texas A&M versus LSU, P. So the game is in Baton Rouge. Obviously, it's a night game in Baton Rouge. And A&M's only favored by 1.5 points, which is kind of shocking to me. But the over-under is 49.5. What are you thinking here, P?
This one could go either way. Because LSU, they've been one of those teams for a long time. Beat anybody, could lose to anybody. They're still that same team because their talent profile's there, and there's always that freaking perfect storm where they actually play a good game. That could happen. Now, I've said before, A&M to me, I don't know if it's their jerseys or what, but to me, they look physically probably the most impressive team in the whole country. They got everything, especially on defense and all. They got all the freaking pieces. The only question is their quarterback. It's on the road. Quarterback. He's not a bad player. but there's things that he misses, just like any quarterback. But it seems like he misses them. To me, he's a prototypical guy. I'm looking at him and saying this is not an NFL quarterback, and no knock on him. It doesn't seem like he's seeing the field very well, in my opinion. But he's a good player. You know, he can run. Obviously, they got some good running backs, really good run game, really good defense. LSU's got a solid defense too, but I mean, they've been really struggling here the past couple of weeks. It seems like Brian Kelly's on the hot seat. I mean, well, supposedly he's on the hot seat, right? So, I mean, they desperately need this game. I mean, this is like and that's the thing. You're playing these teams and they're in must-win mode. You never know what's going to happen. So, man, I don't know if A&M goes undefeated this year. This is probably as good of a chance as maybe any that A&M has to lose. So I'm gonna freaking predict the upset, and you guys know I don't know if I've ever picked LSU to win a game on here, unless they're playing Georgia or something. But you know what? I'm picking LSU to pull off the massive upset. I know you said 1.5 points. LSU finds a way to get it done in Baton Rouge. A little voodoo magic tonight.
Yeah, I was starting to lean that same way too, P. Just because you know A&M does have the problems with their quarterback, where he can run well, he can throw okay. But that's what his problem is. He's not the best passer. That could be a problem in this game. It's so hard for me to ever like pick Brian Kelly to win a game because he just flat out cannot coach. It's crazy that he got that dude is not a good coach. He's like not a good coach at all. So I want LSU, and I mean really like there's part of me that wants LSU to lose. So that Brian Kelly, and I don't necessarily want him to get fired. But, you know, that kind of like takes them out of the picture. I think, you know, that puts them in a pretty bad spot. There's one less team for us to have to worry about. But like you said, A&M, their schedule of who all they have left, they could still lose to any of these teams, but it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. So I'm going to pick A&M. But, you know, I don't know. I'm just going to pick A&M and just leave it at that. All right, so Michigan State, I don't want to waste time on that. Let's go ahead and get into the actual game, P. Like, let's just talk about it. Tennessee at Kentucky in Lexington. It's night, so it's not going to be overcast, which always pisses me off. Like, I hate watching those games up there because it's always real gloomy. It's like, man, it's just on the verge of raining. Like, dog, either rain or just don't rain. Like, either rain or just be sunny. I don't like the in-between stuff, but that's how it is there. I think that's actually going to help Tennessee out. As crazy as that might sound, I think that it helps us out. I think it puts you in a much better mood when it's not just gloomy outside, you know? But Tennessee right now is favored by 7.5 points. The over-under is 54.5. What are you thinking here, P?
You know, let's come out here on the road, man. Let's get off to a hot start. You know, Hypo typically has a pretty good opening script. Didn't go as planned last week. I think we got behind the chains or something early. So, you know, we got to stay on schedule. But let's come out here, put up 7 points on our opening drive. Get the run game going. Now, like I said, the opening script, you never really know. Like what we see in the opening script may not represent what we're going to see the rest of the game. So we might not see a ton of run plays on the opening script. Who knows? But as the game gets going, I want to see that rushing attempt number up in the 40s, maybe and pushing the 50s. Let's get Bishop going. Let's get Starr going. Let's get Peyton Lewis going. And hey, maybe we can see some of those freshmen today too. Like let's just really hammer the ball today. That's number one for me. Let's limit the drops. And then, you know, defensively, like we always say, stop the freaking run, and let's get after the passer. Can we get bodies on bodies in our zone coverage? I think pass coverage was pretty solid last week, contrary to what a lot of people are putting out here as a narrative. So can we continue that this week? Tackling space is the big thing you hope to see from the defense. But, man, I got us winning this one. I think we come out here. We weathered the storm. This is a team, Kentucky team, got a little confidence. Last week they were this close. You know, Stoops gets these guys up for this game typically, coaching for his job. I mean, I don't know. That's what people are saying. Everybody's coaching for the job, it seems like. But, you know, can we weather the storm? I think we can. I think maybe they come out here, they're inspired early. Watch out for this one to be tight, maybe a tight first quarter, maybe even a tight first half. I think we pull away. We win this one, I'll say, let's go 38 to 13, Tennessee.
Okay. I definitely like that. Let me pull up some of these chats real quick so that we can close it down. So Adam saying he would love to watch us stream during the game one day. Yeah, that's something that I was actually thinking about earlier today. So that might be like confirmation. I have to hear it one more time, and then we'll have to go ahead and do it. But yeah, for sure. So thank you for putting that out there for us. Yeah, man, we had to run the ball. Run the damn ball. Hey, so you know what? I saw Georgia Tech's coach, just kind of like a quick little side note. saw him coming up to Buford's game. He flew up there in a chopper. They brought their whole staff up. And this was like a couple of games ago, but I think that they were there to see Quinn, something that we didn't touch on, P, that I wanted to talk about. If Tennessee can find a way to close out on Drake Quinn, the 4-star edge rusher, and also something that's new here, we'll have a whole video breaking this down, but also Tyler Atkinson, okay? Because Tom Loy of 24/7 Sports said, hey, Tennessee fans got to watch out for Tyler Atkinson. We talked about, I told you, I think he's one of the best players, if not the best player in the country. That would be huge. I mean, think about this defense, think about our linebackers with all that young talent. It'll be disgusting immediately. But let me go ahead and get to my thoughts. So I think that in this one, yeah, it might start off a little bit sloppy. Like as we've gotten closer to it, P, the closer that we're getting, the more that I'm feeling it, man, Tennessee really might be able to separate in this game. I think that we're going to come out just like laser focused because of what happened last week. We know that, like you touched on, we lost. Like Alabama didn't really beat us. We beat ourselves. That's from the coaching staff all the way down, just doing dumb stuff. I think that we're going to fix a lot of those issues, and I feel like we're going to have a really, really strong showing. Run the football, stick to the run, just like Matt said. I think that we'll be dominant there. But also passing-wise, I think that we'll really get it going down the field more. I think that we can take some deep shots. Don't want to see any drop passes. That's my challenge to the whole team. I think that our tight ends can maybe do better, especially if we're playing those younger guys more. Ethan Davis, how's he look coming back? But then on defense, I think that we could look really good. You know, I think that this might be, from like a stat standpoint, the best game that our defense has played if the young linebackers are out there. And I think the folks say, oh, well, it's just because they played up against a really bad team, not realizing that, I mean, shoot, I think that it could look good versus the better teams. Like, think about Jaden P. You know, him versus Arkansas. He's showing up, making big plays. Versus Bama. He's always around the football. I think that there's a reason for it. They're just very natural football players. I want to see them do some more. I want to see AC rest up. I want to see all of our veterans take those steps. But I'm feeling pretty confident, P. I'm going to call this one, we're going to call it 45 to 24. That's what I'm seeing here. 45 to 24 Vols roll, baby. But that's going to do it for our pregame show, but we will be back for the postgame show, so I hope that y'all can join us for that. And we're going to be talking some trash, and then we got to move on to this big-time Oklahoma game. But thank y'all so much for joining us. As always, y'all please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will be talking to y'all coming out here, I guess, probably in about 3 to 4 hours, all right? Appreciate y'all. Peace.